Hello, hello, gorgeous humans. Welcome to day 4 of the Awakening Summit. And I'm always super excited, but I'm even more excited today to be interviewing Dominique Oyston. So gorgeous one, welcome, welcome. I'm Leigh Woodgate. I'm a business advisor and leadership mentor. And Dominique Oyston is an extraordinary woman who I'm going to introduce in a way that I normally don't introduce people because I like to keep things cash. But I'm going to read out your bio if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Welcome, my love.
Hello, so great to be here and with you.
And with you and with us playing together. So good. So beautiful, humans. I'm just going to read it straight off because it incorporates every piece of who this woman is. So Dominique is an international opera singer, a speaker, visionary, ancient wisdom expert, and of course, best-selling author, and the founder of the Goddess Voice Academy, which you'll hear all about in the next half an hour. It's a platform designed to reintroduce the spiritual, energetic, creative, and awakening feminine forces to the voice of modern speakers, leaders, and conscious entrepreneurs. So Dominique's been on the stage for the past 25 years, singing to extraordinary human beings, using her voice to magnetize crowds, bring people closer to her, and bring people closer to one another. And for the past couple of years, she's been working with the divine feminine. She's been working with the goddesses and aligning and attuning with them to enable people to get closer to their soul purpose. So gorgeous ones. Where do we even begin with this amazing woman? Where do we start with you, my love? Other than raising the feminine frequency. How about we start there?
Let's start there. We can just dive in.
Straight into it. So tell me, what does that mean? What is the goddess, first of all? And what is a feminine frequency?
Well, the goddess, I guess, is the spiritual representative of the feminine frequency. And feminine frequency is, of course, the opposite polarity to masculine frequency. And our soul isn't gendered, is it? Our spirit and our soul are not gendered. But when we incarnate, when we come into Khan flesh matter into a body, then immediately we enter into the world of polarity. And part of the polarity is to be born into a man's body or a woman's body to ignite your purpose in a particular way. And so this polarity is, I guess, the extreme, the variations along that line of what is masculine and what is feminine, and that core identity in the middle where they are unified and one. But the feminine holds like a shadow, dark and light, soft and hard, prey and predator, nurturer and adventurer. There are so many ways in which we can articulate this polarity. And for women, I guess, because we've been through 3,000 to 5,000 years of patriarchy and the masculine being more and more valued, more and more predominant, more and more seen as the one to idolize, worship, from spirit to kind of earthly situations. What's happened is the feminine polarity has been confined into a very narrow version of what is acceptable and what is valuable. And, the full range of her expression has been diminished, and her voice has been shut out of positions of power for thousands and thousands of years. So consequently, at a cellular level, this feminine frequency is constricted. So in the cells of every human being, we all carry masculine and feminine within us as vibrations and as identity pieces. But the feminine is constricted, and there are all these stories that are attached to this about you are not worthy, you are not lovable, you are not enough, you've got your body's too this, too that, in not enough, not enough, not enough, and all the ways in which the feminine has been told she is not enough has actually entered into the frequency. You know that the whole world is motion, vibration, energy, frequency, and frequency constructs matter. So every time we've entered into a body with any sort of frequency around not the feminine aspect of ourselves not being valuable, and we enter a woman's body, you know, our soul incarnates into a woman's body, we're left with I'm not enough right from the beginning. And sometimes we're lucky enough to have an incredibly wonderful, nurturing environment where our psychology and our belief system is nurtured to rise above that. But most of us don't. Most of us are just sort of, you know, like kind of being left to whatever experiences and belief systems we happen to bang into, quite literally, through life. And so the feminine frequency, I think one of the most important things that we can do is understand that the goddess as a spiritual frequency is a way of showing us how to revalue our feminine again. So there are goddesses for everything. And if you want to really embody your laughter and your fierce laughter, you know, your ferocity, but just for life, then there will be a goddess who will help you do that and, you know, like help you express. So the goddesses take us inwards. The masculine is an external moving energy, the feminine is an internal moving energy. And so the goddess takes you into the landscape of your soul, the landscape of your body, the landscape of your inner nature. And she helps you sit in there and say, it's okay to be me. You know, it's okay to be this. It's okay to be this. And maybe even I can love this part of myself and raise that part of myself which has been told it should be, you know, apologize for existing, and to start to express it. So feminine frequency is, I guess, one of the things that we need to pay attention to at the moment, and we need to love her, and we love her inside of ourselves. So bringing us back to, just feeling good about being a woman and seeing the value of it. Do you want me to have I've got 11 pillars of feminine frequency that I can talk to you about.
Amazing. Before we dive into that, could I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, go for it.
So are you, being the channeler of the light that you are through your voice and being able to connect with these goddesses, these feminine frequencies that they are, this is your gift. This is your purpose on this planet. Now, can anyone connect with goddess frequencies? Can anyone tune into them and receive that guidance to be able to go inwards and explore the superpowers that each goddess provides us? Or is this just only certain people?
Oh, look, it's exactly the same with the voice. You know how people say with the voice, oh, they're talented and I'm not? It's a skill set. And some people are naturally more gifted in certain areas. So some people will naturally have more ability. But the thing about skills is that hard work very often looks exactly the same as talent. You know, it really does. And I was not, this ability was latent within me, but it's not as if I walked around having conversations with goddesses and knowing exactly who they were. I've had to work really, really hard over probably about 15 years to sit in the light of a certain being and relax in enough and stop my mind from trying to interpret and just receive, learn to receive and say, who are you? Is this, and let that frequency inform me through the body, really, and to become more accurate at receiving. And, you know, priestesses, shamans, they were trained in ancient times to, I guess, have the ability to receive from spirit, be that channel. So channeling is, something you can learn, but I would highly recommend that you give yourself a good 10 years to learn to do it, and to be accurate and discerning and know who you're talking to. Like to me, it's an art form. Some people are very, very psychic and they can switch it on and off. I'm not like that. I've had to work at it in the same way that I've had to develop my voice. It took me 10 years to sing. Well enough to be at the level that I was at, which is, international. So can anyone do it? Yeah, I would imagine. Can't see why not, in the same way that anyone can learn to sing.
But dedication and focus to be able to get to a certain place, which is what the feminine frequency does when you're able to embody it. It sounds like the key thing is to increase your receptivity. And so when you're increasing your receptivity, you're able to receive more money, receive more love, have access to resources, manifest what it is that you know to be true, but maybe haven't actually been able to bring it forth. And it sounds like those are the pillars, or some of the pillars, or some of the outcomes of your work. Is that right? The use of the voice to receive more?
Yeah, I've what I've realized with the voice from like my experiences on stage, and also working with people, is that we imagine with the voice that we speak outwards. And you think of women entrepreneurs, they're always trying to put their voice out there. But what happens is, if you actually imagine that you receive through the throat center, and as that happens, because the throat center is the place of purification, as a practice that you start to feel what you are receiving in terms of messaging, experience, interactions with people, ideas, and you say, is this purposeful? Do I want to manifest it if I regurgitate it through my voice when I send my voice outwards? So we start to not just thinking and receiving through the mind. If we start thinking and receiving through the throat center, and start to say, how do I actually let things in? Are they right and purposeful and good and significant to let in? And if they're not coming in. They're not coming in. I'm going to take things in, purify them, embody them, feel them, know them, and learn to articulate them. This is when the voice really works. This is when the voice becomes this powerhouse for manifesting on purpose. Because we've incarnated with a purpose. We don't want to manifest things that aren't purposeful. Like, what's the point? What is the point other than I've manifested something that's not purposeful. Bother, I won't do that again. Learning curve. We're here to manifest purposefully, to become significant. And I've had experiences of being incredibly significant because of my voice. And it was because I chose deliberately, awakened, became conscious of what I was receiving and generating in my voice. I was chosen to sing at Bob Hawke and Blanche Delpaget's wedding. The soloist, 20 people in a room at the Ritz-Carlton in Sydney. Out of all the singers in the world, me. Why me? Do you know what I mean? Like, why? Because every time I sang, I asked that spirit come through me, and I used to ask Archangel Raphael to come through me to provide the greatest healing possible for my audience. And I would have, like, every time I sang, people would come in tears, no matter how shitty I thought I was. My own human stuff go, oh, God, that was terrible. Yuck. The self-criticism, which was huge for me when I was younger. I would still dedicate the journey to spirit, and people would just come and say, I don't know what you did to me. And I don't know what I did to them either.
This is you continue.
Yeah. So when we awaken to the power in the voice, to receive everything and choose, be discerning, take it down into the sacral where we, that womb space where we gestate and we process and we feel and we embody and we become one with, we co-create one with an idea or an experience, and then it comes back up out of the throat center. If we do that on purpose all the time, we're going to have the most epic life. Resources, abundance, love, harmony, creativity, interest, feeling, expression. It's almost like this fountain of everything that is purposeful and right for you in your signature expression can start to move through receiving, digesting, embodying, becoming one with, and then re-expressing. So a lot of people have you go.
This is a really interesting concept, that you talk about receiving through the throat, because
I told that through one of the goddesses.
It's very interesting because most of the time we're receiving through the heart. We're being taught to receive through the heart, feel through the heart, give through the heart, and then have it drop into our creative center being our womb. If not, you're receiving through your head, and so you're getting the downloads through the crown chakra, which is then coming down into the body. But you're saying receive through the throat, which is such an interesting concept because it's like a next level filter. And you talk about purification. And as you were talking, I'm somebody who embodies things immediately. So as you were talking, I started to breathe in through my throat. And a week ago, was talking about purification through another practice that we did. And purification is not something that normally comes up in my life. So most bizarre that a week later, we're having this conversation and you're bringing new knowledge to my world as well as the world of all of these beautiful human beings watching, that what would life be like if we began to use our bodies as a purification center by breathing in through the throat before dropping into the heart, before dropping into the womb. This is a most interesting concept, which I'm immediately loving.
And the exciting thing about it is that we are told in all the spiritual texts that in the beginning, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the divine creative forces, and the Word created or manifested, brought into form. So the feminine frequency part of this is the receiving. Now, women have not been taught to receive. How many of us stand here and just go, oh, bring it. Like just love me, really surrender and abandon ourselves to that receiving. We don't. We're protected. We need to feel safe as well. So we've got so many barriers to help us feel safe that we've barricaded ourselves against receiving as well. And if we allow us, receiving through the throat feels a little bit safer than receiving through the heart or the solar plexus, or even through the mind, or even through the sacral. It's a little bit safer because the throat is a masculine structure. It is a masculine container, and it is a container that is quite neutral. It purifies as we receive. So we receive, we take it in, we filter it in, and then, it's safer to be there. It's safer to then bring it into the interior landscape, the female embodiment landscape, where the female feminine frequency knows how to do her thing. She knows how to gestate. She knows how to create. She knows how to co-create. She knows how to say no and yes to things. She knows how to do that inside herself. So then it's like suddenly our voice becomes this tool to direct our lives and how our purpose is manifested. It's really interesting.
It
And
is so interesting.
yeah,
I'm
your
like,
mind is blown, I can tell.
I'm coming in. I'm coming in again. I'm coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Would you be open to an experiential thing in this moment for those who are watching and watching on the replay to feel through you, to feel what it's like to activate yourself and receive through the voice, but through a frequency that you channel? Could we do like a 2 minute toning or something before we continue on, just so that we can experience the learning on the spot?
I'm just seeing who's coming in. Okay, so there's a goddess called Arianrod. Hang on, let me check. Okay, yeah. Arianrod is a Celtic wise woman. Her light is deep, deep indigo blue, and she is the teacher of the mystics, the teacher of the bards and the poets and the healers. And oh, sorry, I'm getting really big goosebumps. Arianrod is going to support me while I tone your throat centers. So I want you to imagine that there's a 16-petaled lotus or flower in your throat center. It is a beautiful blue color, a soft blue color, and the petals might be a little bit limp and droopy because they're not being consciously used. And I'm going to sing to them, and I want you to imagine that they're starting to wake up and receive and just, you know, really be responsive to the energy. Okay, let me just do this. So all I'm going to do is tone the throat center. So I'll just put myself in space. Use your breath, relaxing. I call in the 4 archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, to hold the space for us in wisdom and light. And thank you to Arianrod, who is helping us here. Really go deep, deep, deep into the center of your larynx. Just really notice what's there. Look at what is there and receive yourself in love. Love and love and love. And I'm just going to say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Using the breath, relaxing in, really feeling deeply into that light. And then when you're ready, it's coming back in.
Thank you, Beauty.
That's right.
That's super special. Really grounding. Yeah, the frequency that came through was really, really grounding. I'd be interested to hear all of you who are watching and who are watching this on the replay, going through that experience. How did it feel in your body? Because this is what you're all about, right? With these goddess frequencies, that it's all about embodiment in order for you to express and receive.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we can't do this without really being present in the body. And, you know, a lot of people in this summit are talking about awakening in the body in different ways. And what the voice, you know, the voice cannot function without the body, can it? Even though tone itself is a spiritual activity. So we are the generator for tone, but tone plays through us. The breath plays through us. The nervous system integrates, you know, and engages with this activity. And goddesses know how to use the cells in our body, the elements in our body, to shape shift through sound, recalibrate us. And so it's just easier you do a little bit of that, and it's easier to stand in the light of it, feel the energy of it, and feel it sit in you. And Ariane Rod is a very grounding goddess. So she's not out there. She takes you deep, 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 deep in, and she's very companioning. So she will walk with you when you go into the darker places. So yeah, she has a real capacity to hold you kind of lovingly while you ground.
What a beautiful gift you have. I mean, yeah, your voice has always moved me. And I mean, what I would love, and I'm sure everyone who is watching, what they would love is to have something that they could just, you know, press the button on and have that attunement of all of the chakras, especially before coming on and doing lives, or before doing a presentation, or before having a really important conversation with someone, to be able to come in and have the tools to recalibrate themselves so that they can open up their throat chakra in order for them to communicate really powerfully, be magnetic, and manifest this life of purpose that you speak of. So how can people...
I've just bought recording equipment, so I'm going to start recording, and that's next year. That'll all come through, and I will be recording those sorts of things. But in the meantime, I've got a Facebook group called Goddess Sound Healing Journeys with Dominique Oyston, and I'm always doing Goddess Sound Healing Journeys in there. And I've also got a webinar on sound healing coming up. But the thing that I'm really excited is my Black Friday offer for raising feminine frequency. So we didn't get to talk about the 11 pillars, but that's okay. So
no, if people want to learn about the 11 pillars, they can come and do the work with you, because this is where it's at. So how do they get closer to you? How can they come into the space to do all of the things that we've been speaking about, which is the manifestation of opportunities and really aligning with soul purpose, being an open receptacle to receive abundance and love and prosperity, being able to align themselves to what they're actually here to do on the planet, and to be able to speak with really powerful voices? How can they get closer to you? What is the next thing that is juicing you up that you're ready to share with the world?
Okay, the next thing, and it's literally like that for me. I always get excited about my programs. as we all do, I'm sure. So Raising Feminine Frequency is the next program. And if you pop into my Facebook group, or I can share it here as well, I will be sharing the special offer for Black Friday weekend. So it's a 7-week program called Raising Feminine Frequency, and we'll be moving through the 5 mysteries of the goddess, the 5 stations of the goddess, with these 11 pillars to open people up, to let them receive, to understand how, like what receiving actually is, and receiving that works, not receiving as an idea, but actual genuinely the embodiment of receiving, and then how your voice directs that. It's like purposeful.
Delicious. Purposefully and powerfully, yes, and embodied. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love your work. Thank you for sharing your gifts. If anybody wants to dive in further, you know exactly where to go. If you haven't read Dominique's chapter, then have a read. There's a big thing that is coming up at the moment there's a theme with a lot of women in the summit, and that's that they've been living 2 lives and that they didn't fully express their gifts. And the other thing is going back to childhood and looking at what was going on in childhood when you were feeling your most potent. And there's a lot about you as a young girl and the sharing of your voice as a young girl. So it's a beautiful theme that is coming through, that our little girl has so many nuggets of wisdom, and she was so deeply in her power. And so it's so exquisite to see you using your gifts powerfully and sharing them with the world. Thank you for your magic.
Thank you, and it's been a delight to speak with you. Absolutely delightful. Thanks, Leigh.
You too. Dominique will drop her links in the comments in the Facebook group when we've finished here. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening or afternoon or morning if you're watching this on the replay, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the interviews that are coming up. There are a few more today, and we continue on for another few days. So don't Netflix and chill, binge watch the Awakening Summit. You'll learn a lot more. Sending so much love to all of you. Ciao, gorgeous ones. Bye.
Bye.